Lakers 12-1 after last night's win versus teams below 500. Okay. 11-17 versus teams above 500. It's the worst record versus teams above 500 compared to all the 10 current playoff and play-in teams. So take the top 10 teams in the Western Conference. Who's got the worst record of all those teams in the playoffs or in the play-in? Top 10 in the West. Lakers have the worst record versus teams above 500. Obviously, you don't like that stat. Let me give you another stat, which is this one throws me off a ton, but it kind of says something as well. And again, this is going back to JJ's figuring out, what lineups he wants, what it is. I don't think you could tell any of that when the Lakers are playing when they're playing the Washington Wizards or the Miami Heat, who's a 500 team, or the San Antonio Spurs, who are below 500 and blew out the Lakers at home. I don't think you could tell any of that versus these types of teams. But let me give out one more stat here that's on the Lakers. So right now, if you look at the Lakers' record, they're 5 games over 500, right? And I've said this before. I've said as we hit the halfway point, there's a part of me that says, okay, halfway, you're 5 games over 500, 6 in the Western Conference. That's not terrible. That's not awful. Listen to this stat and how crazy this stat is. They're on pace to win 45 games. But there is a website out there that analyzes team performance, strength of schedule, all this other factors that come into play. So they're on pace right now to win 45 games. However, their expected total is 36 wins based on the trajectory that they're going in, based on the teams that they have left. That's a 9-game swing. They're not going to win 36 games, guys. They're going to win more than 36 games. I think we'd all agree with that. But how crazy is that? You're on pace for 45, but based on the schedule that you've had and some other determining factors, they're expecting the Lakers to win 36 games. I don't like those stats. So when I look at this comment here and I see JJ's figuring this out, you're not figuring this out against the Wizards. You're not figuring this out against San Antonio or Miami. Tomorrow when you take on the Boston Celtics, all right, that's a different question. All right, let's do it already. James to Golden State. I got a topic that I'm going to get to in just a second, and the topic is going to be about the Lakers picking a path. And it's also going to be, do we kind of already know the result of the Lakers? So I'm going to come back to this in just a little bit. I appreciate the super. Couple more comments here that I'm going to get in, and then we'll go to the next topics. Why don't Lakers make a pick trade like Suns did? If Lakers pick with Bron on team is valuable, why don't Lakers make pick trades like the Suns did if the Lakers pick with LeBron on team is valuable? Okay. The Phoenix Suns yesterday made a trade where I think they acquired 3 more first rounders, kind of late first rounders, but 3 more first rounders. The Suns are stocking up. Suns are going to go make a move. If you ask me, I think they're probably going to, it's a good chance they probably end up with Jimmy Butler. We'll see what happens. That's actually the concern I have with some of the teams that are behind the Lakers. Suns are in desperation mode. So will the Suns go out there? They're all in, so they don't really care. They're going to do whatever the hell it takes. And if the Suns and the Heat make a trade, I'm sure the Heat will win that trade. But that doesn't mean in the short term that the Suns can't be better. Will the Warriors do anything? Will the Kings do anything? Will the Clippers be active? There's some teams that are behind the Lakers right now, or maybe just a hair in front like the Clippers are. We already know kind of the top 4, top 5 teams in the Western Conference are clearly better than the Lakers. Now, if going to a 7-game set, we would see. But, so to answer your question here, I don't know if the Lakers have the assets to do what the Suns did. And frankly, the Suns, they don't give a flying you-know-what about their situation or their predicament at all. They're all in. Kevin Brown, if Bruce Brown, Lonzo Ball are serious buyout candidates, Lakers should consider shedding $8 million to get under the first apron. Draft capital for Walker Kessler would allow us to sign either. Yeah, I don't think both of those players. There's too much value in Bruce Brown and Lonzo Ball to be buyout candidates. So I don't think that's how you're going to acquire those players. I don't think so. I don't think that's going to be happening that way. Okay, let me take this into my next topic. All right. You know, I'm going to give you my prediction on something here real quick. My prediction is Lakers are going to make another move. And my prediction is it's going to be it's not going to be, this crazy huge move. I don't think it's going to be that. I think the Lakers are going to make a move that is another kind of piece around the edge. By the way, they don't have a choice. If they don't make another move, then I don't know why they're not sellers. It's the last thing that's going to happen, the last path the Lakers are going to take. If I told you here are the paths Lakers are going to make, small move, huge move, or start selling all their assets. Selling all their assets is the last thing that's going to happen. Making a big move would be the second, most likely scenario. And I think the most likely scenario is going to be they make a small move. I don't know how much that's going to improve the roster. I don't know how much that's going to improve the team. But I'll tell you this. Doesn't it feel like we kind of already have an idea what's going to happen the rest of the year? Let me give you an idea of what I think is going to happen. I think before February 6th, the Lakers are going to make another kind of mid-trade. Not a crazy move, not a big-time move, but one of those trades where they ended up with Jonas Valanciunas, or they ended up with Robert Williams, or they ended up with maybe a wing player, another kind of two-way player that's got a little bit more of a defensive presence, or maybe another creator, a point guard. Even though I still do feel like they're going to end up with another big. Doesn't it feel like that's what they're going to do before we get to the NBA trade deadline? I think we all agree you're not trading for Dorian Finney-Smith and not using any of your first rounders or trading other assets without another move in mind. Because if you didn't have another move in mind, then you might as well just kind of held on to D'Angelo Russell and held on to those assets. I just don't see a reason why they would have made a move without looking to make another move. So I think we could all agree on that. Let me keep going here. I think we all agree the Lakers are going to make the playoffs. Okay? Whether that's play-in and then you get in, or that's just make the playoffs, they're a top 6 seed, something along those lines. I think that part we feel pretty comfortable about. Maybe there's some teams that get better. Maybe Sacramento keeps shooting up the standings. They've won 9 of their last 10 games. Maybe Phoenix all of a sudden makes another trade for Jimmy Butler and they hit a different stride, and maybe Lakers end up in the play-in tournament. But I feel like they're going to make the playoffs. Maybe they win a round. I think we all agree that when the dust settles, they're not going to be competing for an NBA championship. That's how I feel right now. I think we all already know as well what the future probably is going to be for the Lakers. LeBron's going to play, what do you think? One more year after this year? And then we're going to look at this Lakers roster, and then there's going to be major question marks of, clearly not enough young talent that you can build around. What's Anthony Davis going to be thinking if LeBron is not here? And then you start kind of trying to figure out what the future is going to be. I thought yesterday when I had Dylan Hernandez on at the LA Times, I thought it was interesting. I think he was basically saying, like, look, when LeBron's done, expect what, you saw for those last couple of years after Kobe, or even during Kobe, during the end there, that the Lakers are just drafting young players and kind of hoping that something great happens because a player decides he wants to come play for the Lakers brand, which, by the way, is not out of the ordinary. It's happened in the entire history of the Lakers franchise. There's always stars that end up on the Lakers. One way or the other, a star is convinced to come to the Lakers, and I'm sure that trend will continue in some capacity. Let me tell you guys why I set it up like that. I feel like I already know what's going to happen this year with the Lakers. They'll make another mid-trade. They'll be good. They'll be good. They won't be great. They'll be a little bit better than average. They'll make the playoffs. and then maybe make a little noise, but nothing crazy to where you're like, oh my gosh, this team, these are true contenders. That's how I feel. That's kind of how I feel. The dust will settle for the Lakers, and I don't think this is a, I don't think it's crazy. I don't think I'm trying to be disrespectful, any of that stuff. I kind of feel like, yeah, that's kind of what they are, kind of what they've been the last couple of years, and they would need a lot of things to kind of go their way in order to make some type of run in the playoffs. It's kind of the same story, it feels like, for the Lakers. And if we think it's going to be different, I don't know why we think it would be different. Still got to make a trade. I mean, I still would make a trade. I still would. I know people would say, well, why the hell would you say all that? And then still make a trade. Because I'll tell you why. Because they're also not selling. That's why. All right, some people here, I'm not sure about the playoffs. The only hope that the Lakers and Celtics have to play back-to-back games, maybe they're tired. I'm going to get into Lakers, Celtics in just a second. Let's see what we got here. Talk Dodgers. Lakers talk is getting me down. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, buddy. But it's kind of like the reality, right? Like, I think it's kind of just the reality of the Lakers situation. Lakers perennial playing team, just like the Bulls. Let me see a couple more of these comments here. I hate this roster. Wow. That's hate is a very strong word. Very, very strong word. Let's see what else we got here. I'm trying to package Vando and Gabe for DeJounte Murray. How about that? How about that for a quick second? How about that? All these guys that we've heard their names around the Lakers for how long? DeJounte Murray. All right, if you enjoyed this clip and you want more, just subscribe to the channel. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. is the Sliwa Show. And then after every Lakers game, post-game show right here.